Hello everybody and welcome to the video. Today we are going to be learning about how to assemble a Sagewood Glass hand-blown cartomizer tank. What you see here is one of our basic clear tanks, standard size, but the assembly procedure will be the same for all of our different size, shape, and colors of tanks. So, what have we got here? We've got the tank itself. Okay. It's got a filler hole on the side, and you'll also notice just on the inside of the large opening on either side of the tank there's a little bit of a lip. Very subtle, and you can feel it, and that'll be important later. We'll come back to that. We've also got two vinyl grommets, and you can see that there's a groove in the side of the grommet there. That's important as well. We'll come back to that. Excuse me. We've got a little silicone stopper, and as you can see the tip of that is cut at an angle, and that's important as well. We'll come back to that later. Last but not least, we've got this little glass thing here that is going to really help us put this tank together and make it nice and easy. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got a Boge 510 cartomizer here, standard length. These tanks should fit any cartomizer with the same diameter as a 510, 808s, 901s, so on and so forth. Now, first thing we want to do is go ahead and grab one of our vinyl grommets and just go ahead and put it on the cartomizer, and you just want to work it down and on. They're snug, nice and snug, but it does go on. One thing you want to make sure and do here is push the grommet down so that the wide flat end of the cartomizer here, right below the threads, is sticking out just past the grommet. You don't want it to be flush with the grommet or below the level of the grommet, because then when you screw it on to your PV, it may block the airflow. So, got it set up just like this, nice and easy. At this point you also may want to mark where you want to put the hole in your cartomizer. This cartomizer actually doesn't have a hole, this is just for the demo here. But you may want to go ahead and mark where you want to put your hole, take the grommet off, make your hole, and then come back to this step. So we're going to go ahead and put this in. You'll notice on the tank that the filler hole is closer to one end of the tank than it is to the other. So let's go ahead and consider the end that it's closer to, the top. So we're going to go ahead and insert cartomizer from the bottom, and just go ahead and working your way around, pushing that grommet in, and the groove in the grommet that we talked about earlier is going to seat nicely on the lip of the tank that we talked about earlier. So you can see it makes a really nice seal all the way around. And we've still got the cartomizer in the proper position here, sticking out just a little bit beyond the grommet. Now we want to get the grommet onto this side here. How are we going to do that, you might ask? Looks like it's going to be a little bit trickier. Well, that is where this handy dandy little glass tool comes into play. What you want to do is just go ahead and set that right in the top of the cartomizer. Put your vinyl grommet on top of it, and then with 4 fingers just push squarely down. It'll slide over, and you'll actually feel it kind of pop into place onto the cartomizer. I don't know if you could really see it. At this point you go ahead and put your thumbs on the bottom of the tank, and we're just going to work that grommet down in the same way as we did on the other side. Now it's nice and snug, but this is a good thing, because once you get it in place, and you'll see once it gets loose, the glass piece, the glass tool, will just fall out. So it's nice and snug, but once you get it in place, this is a very, very solid, sturdy setup. And you can see here, as I pushed it into place, the bottom stayed perfectly aligned as far as the cartomizer goes. We've got a really nice seal all the way around between the groove of the grommet and the lip on the edge of the tank. So now we are assembled and ready to fill this tank up. Get a paper towel out for that. So we've got our juice. And just go ahead, put the drop tip right on the hole there. Squeeze gently. Go ahead and start to fill it up. You might want to let the air escape from the tank as you do this so it doesn't build up too much pressure inside. Squeeze and fill, squeeze and fill, squeeze and fill. And as you can see, we're really able to get it nice and full. Okay. Just take your paper towel and wipe off the outside. You also want to make sure that your silicone stopper is nice and dry. As we talked about before, with the tip of the stopper being cut at an angle, that is so when you press the stopper in, when it presses up against the cartomizer, that angled tip will actually just cause it to slide off to the side of the cartomizer so it doesn't get in the way at all. So you want to make sure that it's aligned in the right direction. I'm not sure if you can see it clearly, but I have the angle so that it's pointed away from me. And we'll just go ahead and push that stopper in nice and snug. Really snugging it down in there. You might even, if you want to, you can even give it a little twist as you push it in just to make sure. But that stopper is really nice and snug once you get it in there. As you're pushing the stopper in, it does put a little bit of pressure into the tank, so you may get a couple drops of liquid. You may get a little bit of flooding into the cartomizer that would push through. That didn't happen here. So here, as you can see, we have now got an assembled tank ready to go. One of the nice things about this silicone stopper is that sometimes I've heard about people experiencing kind of like a vacuum lock in the tank, where the negative pressure in the tank causes stops the liquid from wicking into the cartomizer. Well, with this, it's always very easy just to pull the stopper out to let the pressure regulate inside the tank, and you can put it back in. It's also very easy to refill. Very simple. And this is nice and solid. It is really a good seal in there. Of course, you want to be mindful about it when you have it in your pocket or in your purse, but that's just like any tank. So I also have another one that's assembled right here that doesn't have any liquid in it, so I can show you how easy it is to disassemble if you need to change your cartomizer or want to change flavors. Whatever the case may be, all you do is hold it on the sides and push up from the bottom. And as you can see, that top grommet just pops right out. Slide the grommet off of that cartomizer. You can stick your pinky right inside and push the grommet out from the other end. And there you go. It's just that simple. And I do happen to have a tank all set up here with a beautiful hand-blown Sagewood Glass drip tip on there. I have got it filled up with some 70/30 do-it-yourself vanilla clove liquid that is absolutely delicious. Oh, I don't know if you just saw a little bubble come out right there as the juice is wicking in. So this is, it's really solid. After the tank has been completely assembled, the grommets are really nice and tight. You know, I can screw the cartomizer on and off just with the tank, and I can tighten it down. I actually don't want to tighten it down anymore because I'd be concerned about damaging the threads on the cartomizer or the Proberry. You can pull, it's really nice and snug. It's not going anywhere. I don't know if you can see, shaking it, holding it by the tank and shaking it here. So anyhow, let's go ahead and take a vape. Absolutely fantastic. Really love it. Fantastic tanks here, so if you have any other questions, please do not hesitate to contact us. You can drop us a line at sagewoodglass@gmail.com, or you can always find us on the ECF. And we thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. Happy vaping!